Hey everyone, if you're gearing up for the NPPE, you've definitely seen the kind of question we're about to tackle. It's that classic showdown, right? You've got the legal force of a contract on one side and the ethical weight of your professional duty on the other. So when those two go head to head, which one wins? Let's find out. Okay, so this right here, this is the main idea to keep in your head for our whole discussion. In engineering, good enough yesterday just doesn't cut it today. Think about it, the goalposts are always moving. We have stronger materials, smarter models, stricter safety standards. What was perfectly acceptable a decade ago could be straight up negligent now. Let's see exactly how this plays out in an exam question. All right, let's look at the scenario. The question is, an engineer relies on outdated codes incorporated by reference in a contract, despite newer mandatory standards being in force. Which duty is most implicated? Now, for our options, is it A, the duty to strictly follow the contract no matter what? B, the duty to meet the standard of care based on current codes? C, a duty to warn, but only if the contract says so? Or D, a duty that's just limited to being accurate when the design was first made? Go ahead, take a moment, think about which one feels right. So what's this question really asking? Well, it's a classic professional judgment problem, straight out of the NPPE playbook, covering practice, ethics, and law. They've set up this perfect conflict for us. You've got the contract over here, which is, a legal document, and then over here, you have your professional duty to use the newest, safest standards. This is the exact spot where they want to see how you think. To crack this nut, we have to get our heads around one key concept, the standard of care. This is the big one. It's the principle that solves this entire dilemma. And hey, it's not about being perfect, not at all. It's about being diligent, competent, and crucially, up to date. It's the yardstick that you and every other professional engineer are measured against. So what makes this standard of care so powerful? Well, think of it this way. Your license isn't just a pass to get a job. It's a promise you make to the public. Your number one duty, it's not to the client, it's not to your company, it's to the safety of the public. The reason people trust that a bridge won't fall down is because they trust that you and every other engineer are holding up your end of that bargain. And that promise breaks down into these core ideas. Number one, public safety is always the top priority, period. Two, standards are never static. They're always getting better. And three, and this is the big one for this question, your professional duty is bigger than any one contract. The bottom line? You're going to be judged by the standards of today, not the standards from when the contract was first written. Okay, let's talk about the wrong answers. The people who write the NPPE are clever. They love to include options that look good on the surface, but are actually traps. They're designed to test if you really get the pecking order of your professional duties. Let's break down these traps. Option A, that's the contract is king fallacy. It's a tempting one for sure, but a contract can never force you to do something unsafe. Your duty to the public always wins. Now, option C is what I call the minimalist duty trap. It's the idea that you only warn about risks if you're told to. Nope. Your duty to warn is built in. And finally, option D, the snapshot error. This one pretends your responsibility just stops the moment the design is done. That's just not true. Your duty extends to making sure the final product is safe according to today's standards. So, we've navigated the minefield of wrong answers. We've seen the traps for what they are. Now, the correct path should be pretty clear, right? The right answer has to be the one that leans into your professional responsibility and puts your highest duty first. And there we have it. The correct answer is B, the duty to meet the standard of care measured against current applicable codes and standards. This is it. It's the only one that gets it right, both ethically and legally. Let's dig into exactly why it's the winner. So what makes B so perfect? Well, it checks all the boxes. First, it directly calls out the standard of care. Second, it correctly ties your duty to current codes, not outdated ones. And third, and this is huge, it puts everything in the right context, public safety and your professional competence. It really is the whole shebang. All right, let's bring it all home. We'll go over the main takeaways and the key terms you absolutely need to know. This will lock in the concept not just for the exam, but for your day-to-day work as a professional. Look, if you remember only one thing from this whole breakdown, make it this. Your license isn't a permission slip to follow old rules. It's a living, breathing commitment to current standards. It holds you to the best, safest ways of doing things today. End of story. And last but not least, let's nail down these key terms. Incorporated by reference, that's just the fancy legal phrase for when a contract points to another document, like an old code, and makes it part of the deal. Mandatory standards, those are the current rules you have to follow, no exceptions. And the standard of care, that's our hero. It's the professional duty that tells you to pick the mandatory standard over the old contract every single time. You've got to know these cold. So I'll leave you with this to think about. This whole standard of care thing, it's way bigger than just this one exam question. It touches all the little decisions you make every single day. So my question to you is, where do you see it in your work? How does it guide you when there isn't a clear rulebook to follow? Definitely something to chew on. Thanks for joining me.